Welcome to Talk Radio Country 99.5.
If you were to intro the podcast, how would it be? Oh.
What?
Go ahead, Johnny. Intro us in.
Intro.
Yeah. Say something.
I ain't got the vibes.
No vibes here?
Man,
You don't like this one?
Johnny is in his feels.
What about Space Soup? Uh-oh. Yeah. Here it is.
I mean, because I am monotone, I can't do this.
Go ahead.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to our podcast.
Bro, the title of this is Space Soup. You're supposed to be like, yeah, welcome to the podcast, Space Soup.
I think the anniversary service took all my vibes.
They took everything out of him to do those stats.
Yeah, for real. Well, welcome everybody. 14th anniversary of the church was this past weekend, so we're on some celebratory vibes. We got some balloons out. It's exciting over here. Obviously, Pastor's still in quarantine, so he's not joining us today. We got the staff, though. We got Pastor Simeon, Pastor Tony, Pastor Johnny, and myself. Before we get started, I just want to big up Mike Fitzpatrick. He gave us a little upgrade over here. We got some new mics. We got a new system over here. I can play stuff from my phone. So if you hear a little jingle, that's terrible.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's not the vibe.
This one? Okay.
Okay.
If you hear a little jingle,
This
it's
is
because
Johnny don't hear the jingle.
if you hear a little jingle, it's because I got some new powers. Now I can play some music from the phone. So anyway, we're talking all anniversary this podcast. We're talking reflections, talking church over the years, talking memories. But of course, as we start, we got to start with the LWAC. We called it LWAC a couple weeks ago, last week at church. What do you guys remember from last week at church? Your little LWAC.
Oh, is that what? See, me and Simeon are new to this. We don't know the jive. We don't
Well,
know the lingo.
we just started. I just called it that last
Okay.
podcast. So it's
All right.
I don't even know if it sticks. I don't even know if it works. It might be really stupid, but
Yeah,
I
LWAC.
like LWAC.
Or is it
LWAC.
So my
LWAC.
LWAC was just how great the service went with the video. I was so skittish because of just going through it before with a satellite campus, seeing
A little
how
PTSD.
Yeah, completely. Just seeing how it can crash and burn, or it went great. And so, man, just really, really pleased. And I even said that during the closing to one of the services, just how awesome it was that they were receptive, that they just, man, they got in it. And I even told the pastor, I texted him during one of the services, during one of the, I think it was announcements, so it wasn't anything spiritual. But previously he had asked me, he's like, all right, listen, compared to me being there and me not being there, video, what do you think is the percentage of receptiveness? And I was like, man, so I'll be honest, this is before it happened. I said, be honest, I said, the video looks great. We've seen it. I give it 70%. He's like, oh, that's not good. So I texted him during the service. I was like, man, listen, it went from 70 to real high. Mm-hmm. I don't know how high, but it's really high. And so that was for me, man. It's just really excited to see everyone dive in and receive the vision from the video. That was cool.
Yeah, because Pastor wasn't able to be there, so for anybody that wasn't there, we had a video showing it was him preaching. Yeah. Talk through like that whole process of finding out that we were going to do that and what stepping into that looked like.
Listen, I want to give props to Sam Cagle.
100%.
Because that was his idea. I mean,
That was his idea, 100% his idea.
Yeah. And we all thought I thought it was crazy. I was like,
I mean, some of his idea was crazy. Like
Some
parts
of it
of it
Yeah,
that
his-
we didn't use.
His pitch was nuts.
yeah.
We're just sitting at lunch, and he's like getting up from the table and like, all right, so picture this. And he's like going into
We'll
full.
start at Pastor's shoes and we'll go
Yeah,
up into the
really.
whole body shot.
Yeah, and I loved it. I was eating it up. And it felt like Spielberg, like giving the pitch to the like the
Jaws.
studio. Yeah. It's like this is what I see. So picture this. So anyway,
Yeah, man. So when we found out they were possibly going to be quarantined, it was okay. Here we go. This is not gonna be pretty. Any other week, okay, cool. Any other week, we can have any four of us up there preaching. But man, it's anniversary week. It's vision casting, and so oh my goodness, how are we going to do this? There was a little bit of panic in some of us here, probably all of us here. But then Sam Cagle to the rescue.
yeah, it was awesome. And we went, recorded it. I remember I was holding the the
Bro, that thing was
stabilizer
heavy.
for
That
30
thing was
minutes.
heavy.
Yeah, I don't know how heavy it is, but like by the end of it, my hands were.
300 pounds by the end.
It felt like it. I mean, there's moments where I see it, but like moments where like the focus went out because my hands were just like shaking uncontrollably, and I'm like, just keep them in frame.
Yeah.
But it lasted. It lasted. We lasted.
In frame.
That was literally what's going through my head.
Listen.
As long as he's in frame, it's okay.
I don't know if this was just that, coincidence, hand of God, but I was so glad that. So when we were there, we're there at the new property, and pastor's up there on stage. Phil's right there in front of him, shaking and everything, and so Pastor Sim just happens to sit on that side over there, and so he's sitting there just to give the pastor a feel of what the music will be doing at the time, so he can kind of play off of that. So Simeon just happens to sit over there, which worked out great because during the service,
that's exactly where
he was where he was,
exactly.
and
Perfect.
so not even like it was planned, but pastor's just like, yes, and so now Pastor Simeon, and it was almost like it just like he was there because he was pointing right at Simeon's head.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, Pastor Simeon's gonna be doing this, so really cool.
Yeah, he could have like patted me.
He almost did.
Like,
Yeah,
he's patting my head.
Right, 100%.
this guy right here is going to be playing now.
Yeah. What else? Who else has an LWAC?
I mean, my thing was the cookout. I mean,
We had a banger cookout.
yeah,
Yes.
5:30 we're standing around, people just start rolling in, and it just seemed like it didn't stop.
Yeah, I don't feel like people stopped coming until like 6:30,
And
6:45.
then Kona
Yeah.
Ice came, and
People-
that line looked like a big old caterpillar just like throughout the parking lot.
People didn't stop coming until 15 minutes before it was over. Kimberly said somebody went. You sent Sam and Angie to go get hot dogs. They invited somebody from
That's awesome. I
the
didn't know that.
grocery store over that then 10 minutes later showed up. So it was awesome.
Yeah,
super
and
cool.
our leadership development team did an incredible job.
Yeah, it was
putting that
crushed.
on. It
Y'all
was
crushed it.
I was
Yeah.
very proud of them. So it was a good night, good event. Wasn't hot outside. Just a good, enjoyable time.
Kona Ice was amazing. They crushed it.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Y'all are
Yeah.
fantastic. Unlimited ices.
Have y'all had Kona Ice before?
I haven't.
We had them
I
at
still
a Conway campus event.
really?
I didn't actually drink any, so this was my first Kona Ice. And I didn't know that's how they did it, where they just hand you the ice and you do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I didn't know like how to judge, how
Right.
much syrup
Like
got
the
in
ratio.
I put a lot.
there. Yeah, me too. I started stirring. I was like, I got nothing but syrup. It was
redemption time
delicious.
for
That
all those
watermelon.
times that they shorted you on juice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. You can get it back. I like the little lights that they had. They had a little light show when you
Yeah.
put the juice on.
Yes.
So it was cool. It was neat.
Yeah.
I'm sure the kids enjoyed it. What was your LWAC, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a wild one with Pastor being out and it being such an important service for us each year. I mean, this is one of our Super Bowl Sundays,
Mhm.
So for us, there was a lot of planning involved that included him in multiple aspects of the service. So when he wasn't going to be here anymore, we kind of had to go back to the drawing board, and with that came a lot of changes to every aspect of service. So shout out to everybody that jumped in. Johnny jumped in with the stats where Pastor was going to be and crushed it, and the video was super impactful. I felt like I told Pastor this yesterday, but I felt like this was one of those services that it was one of the best services we've ever had with him not being on stage and being, fulfilling his role in the service, which was a huge thing for us, especially going forward and the excellence that we want to be, using every week. But the videos are always sketchy. We've had a lot of issues with videos in the past, so but with a 29-minute, 3 gig video. On the tech side of things, can get super hairy, and so thankfully we didn't have really any big glitches or anything, and thankfully God helped me and we were able to kind of get in line with the video for every service and flow with that, because that's always the hardest part with the pre-recorded thing, is being able to flow with what's going on in the video. So it happened naturally. God got in the middle of it, and the services were awesome, man. I was super stoked. Just every aspect of each service was special, unique. It was a celebration, and Pastor was still able to preach vision and, talk about being a watchtower. And I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
So
And I wonder if Simeon just let the cat out the bag. I wonder how many people thought he was live as opposed to pre-recorded.
I know a lot of people thought he was alive.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
I've already told them that he wasn't, so I didn't let any cat back.
Which is a testament to how well it flowed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good.
Yeah, agreed. And he also he posted that he posted a picture day of, I think, or like a video of recording. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which I don't know. Yeah, it was cool that somebody got baptized.
Yeah,
that was
sure.
incredible.
Shout out
Super
to
awesome.
Ryan Neeson.
Ryan Neeson, man, congrats, Ryan Neeson.
Yeah,
He's
that was
awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool. My main one though was definitely anniversary cookout. Paulie walking around with that GoPro. It was my favorite thing of the night.
I saw that. I was like, where did you get that?
cameraman.
I loved it. I loved
That
it.
was crazy.
Paul Cassell's a awesome character. I love him.
His wife's probably
so
watching
much.
right now.
Yeah, she watches. Yeah. So Barb, we put a GoPro on his chest. We put a GoPro on his chest. It was awesome.
I don't think I've ever seen a cameraman that excited to
He's-
be recording.
I loved
something.
it.
He was awesome.
I was walking around. I was like,
He
who can I
talked
put
about
this
it
on?
after he took it off, too. It was
Yeah, I loved it. It was awesome. So for this next part, I wanted to. So I looked up, what people talk about on anniversaries, and I looked up the most common questions that spouses ask each other on their anniversary. And so I thought it'd be cool if we answer those questions. If you guys answer those questions from the perspective of the church. There was some that I had to cut out because it just didn't make sense. But some of these are the most common questions that people ask each other on their anniversaries. So first one is, how have we changed this year? How have we changed this year?
We've changed a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of change happening this year. I mean, the most recent one is the leadership structure and all that stuff. But one big one is you coming on staff this year. That was super awesome.
Yeah, huge.
We've watched you grow up, but now that you're here and on staff, so much has changed. Even in your role in on staff has changed since you've been here. So, to me, that's been super cool. This year, we've purchased a new facility and are about to make the move.
Yeah.
So that's to me, this year has been
Insane.
one of the biggest years of growth in so many aspects of things. And, I've been here for 7 years. Tony's been here for all 14, so he can speak to that more. But for me, this year has been a huge year of growth. I even got married this year, so it's
A
been
whole lot's changed.
It's
Yeah.
been a big year of change for me personally too. But for us as a church, I feel like we have by far changed the most this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that some of the big changes were what we saw at the beginning of the year with Sacred Season that finally got us over the hump
Yeah.
of paying this facility off. So to me, the biggest change that has occurred this year is just the preparation that God has made in the changes that a lot of them that Simeon referenced was, getting us ready to move into that next level. Certainly paying off this building, because if we still had a mortgage here, we wouldn't be, advancing forward with purchasing a new facility. But then the leadership changes. So many of those leadership changes sets us up with a good structure to move into a larger facility that will, we bring in more people, and as God brings them in, we now have a good avenue of leadership.
We saw some of that in action this weekend, just
Yeah.
with Pastor being gone, some people stepping up. That
Oh man, they
know.
crushed it.
yeah, so it was super cool.
Yeah.
Then we got the emphasis on baptisms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've only
Nuts.
had 273 in the past.
Yeah.
what,
For
20
real.
something
Weeks,
weeks.
yeah.
Right.
So, I mean,
I
that's
think
been
it's like
incredible.
24, 25 weeks now.
Yeah. And then our prayer services have been off the chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, those
there's-
prayer services have been, they really started growing after COVID when we started coming back, and man, they've been super powerful. Even with Pastor being gone the past 2 weeks, they've been really awesome. So
yeah.
he makes the big difference in them though, but they've still been good the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'll take like the simple route or something like that. Like there's been huge changes, but like on the really basic level of it, I feel like expectation is something that like over the past year,
Yeah.
it feels like people are expecting so much more. You take like Sacred Season level expectation almost just like spread throughout the year, and it's kind of crazy like how consistent it's been of that being the heartbeat consistently, which before you would look at and be like, there's a lot of stuff that we had to like push and fight through and to get there, and now it feels like there's so many services time after time after time where it's like it's there and the expectation is like through the roof.
Yeah, which is every year what we fought through, because every year we'd have Sacred Season to be incredible, and we would leave Sacred Season and then say, how do we maintain this? And we failed every single year. It's just a God thing, because this year it's not like we had some great epiphany of, let's do this. This is the recipe. We didn't, but God just slowly and methodically worked the pieces together. I mean, we can see it on Wednesday nights with our Unity services. Every single year, we would have our Unity services throughout Sacred Season.
For like 2 to 3 months afterwards.
Yeah, we would try to keep them going, but then eventually nobody was coming. So you can see a noticeable difference in the expectation, like you said, just with Unity services and just the maintaining that Sacred Season level of just desire.
Yeah. What obstacles have we gone through, and how were they weathered? How did we get through them? If you look over the past year, what are the main things that you're like, man?
COVID.
Yeah. Right? Huge.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of the year, I feel like that was a big one, because right after Sacred Season, like pretty much all the staff, minus Tony and Pastor, got COVID within like a month of each other, and so it was like a big storm that we all kind of had to weather, and figure out, like literally every team or every leadership family within the directors of the church were all hit by COVID.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of nuts here for a few weeks, but even outside of that, a lot of people within the church during that time, got COVID, but thankfully we weren't hit hard enough for, anything terrible to happen, and we were able to push on and make it through. Yeah,
I think that it's such a polarizing subject, which is crazy, because it's a sickness. Most sicknesses aren't polarizing, but this one definitely is. And I think how do we navigate through that was very, very important. I think that a lot of prayerful decisions went into it, but we just did our best to try to balance it. Because you've got both sides of the aisle that have their own opinions all over it and what we should be doing and what we shouldn't. So balancing that, because if half your church thinks you should do one thing and half your church thinks you should do something else, you're going to make people mad. So walking that line of, hey, be personally responsible. We're not your medical professionals. Don't come to us for medical advice. Come to us for spiritual advice. And so separating that line, I think, was important for us, and we thankfully, through God's good grace, has been able to maintain that good separation of that, I think.
Yeah. You got one?
Nah,
I got either.
I was gonna say that I don't see too many obstacles, except for the big one with COVID and trying to figure out how to reach people through that, because you have people who are gonna be comfortable with coming to church or not coming to church, or how do we do small groups? There's things inside of that whole issue that we have to be creative with. But I mean, I'm blessed to be a part of a church that, obstacle wise, there's not really. I mean, we had that one guy graffiti the side of our building, but
he must have been so disappointed when, like,
what
3 days later, he comes back and drawn.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It took us like 4 days to figure out what it was saying.
Yeah. That to me was the biggest obstacle. That was the biggest obstacle. That was figuring out what it said.
It took us seeing where he had graffitied it somewhere else a little clearer. To find out what it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really don't see too much of that, going around here. But
I think obstacle-wise, I think there's obstacles that each ministry faces.
Yeah.
But as far as a whole, we've been blessed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's been an incredible year. What do we want to accomplish in the next year?
Move.
Yeah.
It's hard to look past that big hill that's right there.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like once you get there, then all the dreaming starts to...
And that's, like I said, it's hard to look past that, but at the end of the day, we've got, during that process, a lot of nuts and bolts that are going to have to be done, the whole moving process. How long have you been moved into your house?
Like 5 months.
I guarantee you still have boxes.
Yes, I just threw a bunch away this weekend.
Yeah, so all those things that we have to get through without losing the focus of why we're there. To accomplish that big old giant move and get everything in place, all the while not losing focus of winning souls, is we're going to depend on God and we're going to go for it.
So, what's like the simplest thing that you want to do? Like, I know I want to watch a movie in the theater, and I want to have like some concessions. I want to bring my own like
movie nights are going to be off the chain.
Yeah, like I know that's something that I want to do there. Yeah. What is something that you want to do? 5 food trucks. Like
5
what is
ice trucks?
A live recording.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. With our band and everything of like originals, not just other stuff. That's like a 5-year plan, but yeah.
Yeah. That'd be sick.
See, mine's so unspiritual, but
I mean, that's not necessarily spiritual, but it's not spiritual.
I just want to get that road between our church and Faro Parkway open so that people can get into the building without going all the way around. And it's like a passion and a determination. I got to find out who owns that property and just tell them, listen, we'll move the barriers, we'll do whatever, just let that road be open.
Okay.
So random, I know.
You got something you want to do there?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, all my stuff's kind of besides. No, I can't say that. But besides, some of I'm like the department I am with now. There's a lot of new stuff that has to be sorted out, and so a lot of the stuff I want to accomplish in the year is going to include some structural stuff with that. So it's more. Mine's not really that simple as far as.
What about your rug that you want in your office?
My rug? Hey guys, in the comments below, should I get a cowhide rug,
Yes,
a bear rug, or buffalo cape?
If you go on Amazon, you can get all 3 of them for $20.
yeah. Why pick just
fake.
one?
Literally.
There you go.
It's fake.
Boom.
I want a real one
How you know it's going to be real, though?
because it looks pretty fake. It does.
I'll get you one until he's real.
All
On
right.
the real.
We'll see.
All right. So last one that people ask each other, what are 3 things that you appreciate? 3 things that you appreciate.
Oh,
Ooh,
man.
I got this one. Can I go?
Yeah, rapid fire. Boom, boom, boom.
I would say my pastor. I appreciate his leadership and how he's been able to navigate this and help me navigate the departments I'm a part of. I appreciate, I'll stay spiritual. I appreciate the powerful spiritual services we have on Sundays because I was able to attend 4 without like saying, oh no, I've got to attend another service. I don't think there was one time where I was like, not getting something or not engaged in a service. And that kind of speaks for what we have going here. And then third, I appreciate my job. So yeah, not a lot of people get to do what we get to do. So I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
We talked about this on the other podcast, but you guys feel like since we're moving down to 1, like it's going to be weird only hearing it one time, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a part of me that's like, I should probably go rewatch it to like actually, because I feel like my brain's been so like accustomed to hearing it multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like hearing it only once. It's like,
You really have to pay attention now. Like intentionally like listen to everything, every single thing he says.
Yeah, are you going to miss all the small group questions?
yeah, like I'm literally thinking to myself before small group, I'm going to like have to rewatch.
Yeah.
So I
sure.
experienced that with Conway. Like going from 3 services there when we had the satellite campus in Conway, you get done with one service, you close it out, prayer, hallelujah, thank you guys for coming. And the first probably 2 months, it was so awkward after that. You're shaking hands with everybody, and then you there's just something inside of you. Well,
It's like, we should do this again.
Let's go back in the sanctuary.
We should do this
and
again.
then you look around, you're like, everybody's gone. There's nobody else coming in here. So yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to be strange.
Are we all entering 3 things we appreciate?
No, we don't have to.
I mean, I was just wondering.
Some says he only got 1.
No, it's not true.
Big one.
Or you got 4. You can take one of mine.
I could rattle off a good list.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
For me, I appreciate the earnestness that this ministry has.
I like that word.
Who's Ernest?
Ernest Goes to Camp. Y'all ain't seen that movie?
I've seen that one.
Man, I wish I had the sound effect in there for the poops.
Yes.
Man, you gotta warn me next time, Johnny. Just look at me.
But we see our limitations, and yet we push forward with just the earnest grind and love for what we do.
Yeah.
Where we do our very best with what God's given us, and I do think that is one of the reasons why He is blessing this ministry as He has. We're not perfect, and it's because of that knowledge of not being perfect that we know that we need Him every Sunday. We can't get up there and power through it. It's just I really appreciate that about this ministry. I appreciate being able to watch it from the very beginning to where we are now. My goal is to see this ministry at birth from the beginning all the way up until I'm 103 when I go to be with Jesus, and just being able to look back on that and just see the development of certainly the things that are obvious. The pastor, how he's grown from this little skinny fella like we saw in the video the other day, and honestly seeing his ministry and messages progress from somebody who was just passionate and efforting every Sunday to a man who has grown in wisdom as his age has grown and experience, and just his ability to lead a service. I mean, listen, it was great in the beginning, but now watching him just be led by the Spirit in ways that when we were younger wasn't as honed as it is now. And then honestly, the last thing would be our passion to develop leaders. On the video from Sunday, seeing Caleb up there reading scripture, and he was that tall, and now seeing him as a man growing into leadership, seeing my daughter, who is 19, who came into this ministry when she was 4 years old, and now leading a small group. Seeing my youngest son, who pastor brought up on stage and said, "Hey, listen, you love worship and you breathe it," and now seeing him at such a young age being embraced by Simeon and his guys, and being up on the stage at 8 years old playing his guitar, and he absolutely just it's his passion. And so for that, I love that about this church. I appreciate that about this church, and it's going to bear fruit, and is bearing fruit now, but it's going to take us down the road, because I'm a year or two older than the pastor, and so when he's 103 in 60 years, or I guess 59 years, no, 64 years, he's not going to be preaching, and so we're going to need that legacy that we're developing now, and so it's really cool. I know it was a long answer, but I gave Simeon plenty of time to think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it kind of goes back to last week. I had a conversation with somebody in the church in the parking lot out here. They came by to pick up some stuff, and it was just such a cool conversation. Somebody who's been here since day one of them moving to this facility, and talking about just the faithfulness of this church, not just to God, but also to people. And the leadership, and how much they care, and how much Pastor and Tony and Angie and all these people mean to them, because of the beginning days when they moved here with 80 people. Every single person mattered, and watching us as a group of people carry the heart of that out, even still, and at least try to the best we can, and try to make sure that every single person matters, to me, there's just the faithfulness to do that is just, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate the heart of this ministry, that everything that we do, the heart of what we do is for the benefit of God's kingdom. And to me, that matters just so much, and it enables us to be able to make a small mistake and still be able to say, well, my heart was in the right place. And that was even part of the story that I was told the other day. That was part of the story was, there's been things that have happened that I didn't agree with, and that's what this person was saying. But the heart of it was just right, and I can't disagree with that. And so to me, that was so cool for them to say that. I didn't ask them a question, but they were just pouring it out. And so that was super cool. And honestly, I appreciate my job. I appreciate this church. I appreciate my team. I appreciate so much. But I appreciate our family that we have, just as a staff. Pastor has been one of the best friends I've ever had, and proven his loyalty to me. Tony, the same thing. For 7 years I've been here. And then Johnny, I've been friends with Johnny for a long time. And then I've watched you grow up and now become, a friend that's right next door to me and is going to be next door to me in the new place too, which is dope. But I appreciate that, the friendship, the fun that we're able to have with each other in doing ministry. To me, I don't take that for granted. I know a lot of people who hate their jobs and hate the people at their jobs, and I'm super thankful that I love my job and I love the people that I get to work with. And so to me, I appreciate that a lot.
Which I love that you said the fun that we're able to have, and how impactful everything is, because it's a great transition to I asked you guys to bring a favorite pic or vid over the past years, and just to reflect on, last week throughout the anniversary week, Johnny posted on the congregation page for someone for people to drop their favorite picture. And so I would love to see an alternative maybe, or one that you didn't share. What's your favorite picture or video over the past years of this church? I'll kick it off with the aforementioned Paulie with the GoPro. That was taken Sunday.
That's awesome.
Yeah, taken this Sunday. You guys see it on the screen. This is a good one. It's a good one. Who else?
Yeah, mine is, this was, so back in the day, quite a few years ago, we used to record announcement videos, and so Cammie did them most of the time, but this week, this video was Carson, and she did the video, and we were about to start Christmas choir practice, and so she decided to say it like this, so it was
choir practice for the adult Christmas choir. Wait, it's not choir.
Choir.
Is it not choir?
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that is there's so many photos and memories and videos and stuff, but that is one of my favorites.
Yeah, love it.
For me, I've had to fight the urge. I think my favorite funny video is the gift that we made of Johnny when he was in Bahamas.
Oh, man.
Just for a bonus, maybe you can throw that one up there. But honestly, my favorite video is of Eli's first time leading worship during a youth service, and he was singing "Rattle."
Yeah.
And
that was cool.
so I tell you how this developed into him doing that is a little odd, because Christy didn't plan on him doing that, but he knew youth were leading, and so I guess somebody made an offhanded comment that you can take your car up there and lead, and so when Christy got here that afternoon.
Yeah,
he's like, oh yeah, of course, So when Christy got here that afternoon and she had all the kids, they were singing "Rattle" and that's his favorite song. And
if I'm not mistaken, the person that made that comment was Pastor.
I think it was.
I think that's why that happened.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And so
which fits Pastor. Pastor would be.
he's an
Oh, you want to play
instigator.
guitar? All right, go do it.
Yeah, he's an instigator.
Oh, you want to do this? All right, go do it.
So
He's an instigator in the
One
best
at a
and
time.
worst way.
Yeah, I came up to Christy when she got here about 4 o'clock. And I was like, Christy, listen, I don't know what you got planned, but Eli is convinced that he is going to play guitar. up there while you're singing Rattle. She's like, yeah, okay, awesome. I said, and lead the song. And she's like, can he do that? And I was like, he says he can, and he can, but will he get up there? And he just got up there with the most boldness, and it was like,
It was awesome.
it was like he had been preparing. When I say his whole life, he's 8 years old, but his whole life, he's like, I'll live for this moment, got up there and rolled with it. And so that's my favorite video that we have.
Yeah, it's such a cool moment.
But Johnny's a close second.
I've got a ton of photos, videos. There's so much. But the one I pulled was the photo of Caleb shaving my hair when I lost to him in a Fortnite battle.
Yeah, there
So
it is.
this means, this describes our relationship a little bit, but also just you had to get creative with engagement during COVID. And so that was just one of those things that, we said, and, it's just relationship and having fun. I could have pulled, us running our race at the office.
Johnny won, by the way.
There was a picture of me, me teaching the staff how to stretch in the office. Pastor took that one.
The one where you won the arm wrestling challenge.
All right.
Ooh, all right, here we go. Hold on, let me find
So
some
Tony-
intense music.
Sorry, you
here
didn't.
While you guys tell the story.
So Tony's one of the strongest, probably people.
Low key
strong people.
Yeah.
And so we were talking some smack in the
It's
office.
like such a serious story with this one. Wow.
And I told him, let's arm wrestle. So in the conference room table, we ended up arm wrestling. Well, I knew it was over as soon as he grabbed my hand.
Wow.
He's got a grip. If anybody knows Murph, he's got a grip like Murph. Mr. Murph, you've got a very strong hand, and you hurt my hand sometimes. And so Tony grabbed me with the spirit of Murph,
Wow.
and it was over. From that moment, he knew it was over. So,
Wow.
Listen, I'll give you a little background to that too. Is I'm 42 years old. He's 24 years old, and so
27.
So it's one of those things. I should lose.
Yeah, but you've got children.
Yeah, I've got children.
I think that
That's
this is a
bad
multiplier of
strength.
like times 10
Sure.
per child, right?
Yeah.
There's
something like
this theory,
107.
though, of
Yeah.
old man
So,
strength,
but
and I believe
should
it
lose that.
with all my
He's
heart.
in his prime. He's
My prime.
he is in the Hall of Fame at his high school for his baseball prowess. He should win this, and so I go into it. I got nothing to lose.
Right.
If I lose, I should lose. If he loses, And so I went into it, and I was just like, he ain't winning. I don't care what I gotta do. I don't care. I gotta spit in his eye. He ain't winning. And
I lost.
Spirit of Murph come upon you.
Yeah. Spirit of Murph grabbed my hand. I knew it was over.
hallelujah.
One of my favorite videos that I didn't pull was Pastor brought a snake into the office one time and was trying to get Carson with it. And, she's super scared of snakes. And so she's, running around the office, and she runs, and Caleb grabs her and is, trying to, hold her. And she turns around and smacks him right on the forehead and runs out. And, you hear the smack clear as day in the video. It's such a good video.
Oh, I love it. So we're 14. Big 14. What is something that you remember about being 14?
Not a lot.
Oh, man. I don't remember 14.
I know I was living in California at the time, around that age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a lot of newness in my life and different stuff going on, but I don't remember a lot of details other than that.
Yeah.
14, I think that's 8th grade, right? Something like that.
Sounds right.
8,
Yeah.
9,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, let's see. I was playing middle school football in Columbia, baseball, in a lot of trouble. Yeah, nothing good happened at 8th grade for me.
Is that when you got almost killed by the baseball team?
Almost killed.
Yeah, you remember?
Remember?
You got jumped, almost killed.
You got jumped.
That was
Almost
probably
jumped.
close.
Was it that year?
Close to that time. Yeah,
Why'd they jump you?
because I.
You ever heard this before?
I intentionally
A
hit
couple podcasts ago, Johnny said that he almost got killed.
Yeah, I intentionally hit a guy because my coach made me.
What?
Yeah.
Upon
With
further
a pit-
inspection,
with
he
a
didn't almost
baseball.
get
But
killed.
I was in 8th
Not
grade and I
with
was
his fist.
pitching. I was pitching against seniors in high school,
So
and they looked like grown men. And it took me like 3 tries to hit the guy, so everybody knew it was intentional. And then I finally hit him, and everybody came out of the dugout for the other team. And then none of my teammates did anything. So unless somebody interceded on my behalf, I was going to die. Luckily, the umpires
got it handled.
They interceded on
They
your behalf.
handled the situation.
They handled it.
So it's like, a rumble at the pitcher's mound.
It was a
Yeah,
rumble.
14, I'd have crapped myself if that happened to me.
It was bad. It was bad.
I remember 14. I remember hanging out with my cousin Shane all the time in Rose Inlet. He was in California. I'm still right here. We get into a lot of just up to no good.
8th grade is
Started
not a
making
good
trouble in the
time.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Got one little fight.
Mom got
Mom got scared.
No, she was scared. She's good. No, I just remember it was a little before that, but we got called down by the cops a few times. We
Old Kev getting in trouble.
there was one time I remember specifically. We were just kids.
Hold on, when you tell the story, hold on. All right, go ahead.
So me and my cousin Shane,
Wow.
we had walked from his house to the baseball field.
What's happening?
It started out
When
on
we
a
got there,
really weird, sketchy scale.
there was some soccer goals made of PVC, and we had an idea. Let's take our baseball bat and let's see how strong these PVC soccer goals are. The answer was not very. And as young kids, we might have been younger than 14, probably were, but I remember we proceeded to annihilate them with our baseball bat.
Nice.
And we just really weren't thinking anything of it until the lady across
Until
the
you
street.
realize some 12-year-olds needed them things for practice on Saturday.
Until the lady across the street had apparently not appreciated what we were doing and called the cops on us.
Oh no.
And so the cops rolled up. Hey guys, what are you doing? We're like, it was broke when we got here. And she's like, well, the lady said she saw y'all beating it all to pieces. And I was like, I mean, we did, but it was still broke when we got here. And it was somewhat broken when we got there.
Discolored?
Internally.
No, it somewhat was. I didn't tell him it was because we had went down there the week before and broke it the week before too. But yeah, I remember that that kind of showed me something about my dad when that happened. That was one of the. I mean, I've never had the cops come by and have to deal with me. And I remember I was thinking my dad's going to kill me. This is one of the worst things I've ever done. Cops were called. Oh my goodness, it's real this time. And the little mischievous stuff I did before does not pale to this. The cops had to come and get me. And I remember my dad talked to me about it, disappointed, all this stuff. And I was just like, he is going to beat my behind, take the belt off, and he never did. And I was just like, I learned something that I still take as a parent today is that sometimes the situation, the reality disciplines your kid.
Yeah.
For my dad, I think he saw then that the sheer reality of where I was helped me to understand, and he didn't have to teach me nothing. It was learned,
Yeah.
So anyway,
Cool. I
that
saw a different ending to that story. I thought you were gonna say the cops got you. You were in the pen for 4 years, and that's when you developed your arm wrestling prowess.
This is not my child.
That would have been a better story.
Real quick before we go, what is your earliest memory of a service or your first service here, or what's the earliest thing that you remember in a service here?
I remember my first service here. I was down here with my family on vacation. Told pastor about 3 weeks before that I was coming down. Saw him at camp meeting, and then he asked me to lead worship, so I came down and led worship. And we were doing 3 services at the time. This was before we had remodeled the sanctuary, before the back section was cut out or anything. And so led worship 3 times. Just kind of really enjoyed the vibe of the church, the culture, and had 3 awesome services. And then about 6 months later, I moved to Myrtle Beach and came on staff here. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lit.
I remember my first service in this building when we came, and I remember we got the keys to the building, and it was so exciting. I remember the first service, and it was exciting and yet so nerve-wracking because there was just there was a minefield of things that we had to balance in transitioning from over where we were coming here. There were still some people here from the church that was here previously that had left, and so there were some people who just loved the building and wanted to stay, and it was navigating that. Pastor was having to navigate that very, very delicately. So I remember that. But I remember the first service we had and ever 14, 15 years ago.
Really?
And
I've never heard this, so
there's 8
very
people.
curious. Okay.
It was so dejecting, not to me because I'm more of a realist than Pastor. He's the optimist. I'm the realist. And so he was convinced, no doubt, there's going to be 100 people to show up to his first service. Because, throughout his life, and throughout his growth in ministry from when he felt the call and accepted the call to ministry, where people said, hey, have you ever started a church? I'm coming. You let me know that first week, I'll be there. I had so many people say that. So he took them at their word, and, all right, cool, we're launching a service. And so he thought all these people were coming, and they didn't come. They did not come. And so I remember the damage control. I'm a peacemaker at heart, and so the damage control. Well, man, listen, it's great, and
who led worship?
For the first service, it was Jonathan Mew.
Okay.
On piano.
What was the order of service? Do you remember that far back?
The order of service. Order of service was super easy.
Okay.
Worship. I opened the service.
You opened, nice.
Yeah.
So you opened first, okay.
Yeah. I opened the service. We had 2 songs, offering. I probably did. There was only 8 of us. I probably did offering 2. Either me or Pastor did. Then 2 more songs and
awesome.
the sermon. It was really cool. But yeah, we had 2 the next week.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. We had 6 next week. So 2 people didn't come back. So.
Wow. Now here we are.
Here we are.
That's
We
awesome.
did it.
That's awesome. What about you, man?
I think the first service I went to, we came down for might have been just me. Was it just me?
I think I want to say yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was 7 years ago, probably.
I think it was both of y'all. Because we went to BurgerFi afterwards, didn't we?
Well,
Nah, this was
way
before.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
BurgerFi.
I either came for prayer conference during that time.
I know you came for prayer conference once.
Yeah, but right as we were thinking about attending and that kind of thing, we went to a marriage conference. Mm-hmm. We stayed that weekend.
Yep.
So that was a couple years ago, and then my first service as a attendee of Palmetto Pointe Church of God was Easter 2019, and I had to do a spoken word. And if you know anything about me,
Who made that decision?
I got a text
Boss.
from Pastor, from the boss man, saying, "Hey, I want you to do
But the boss had been misinformed.
yeah."
Not gonna lie.
Who came to him and said, "Hey, this guy is
Hey, this guy-
awesome." at
Whoever
spoken
did
word."
that, I think that's perfect.
We recently talked
perfect
about
trap.
this, and it was like
He likes to stretch
whoever said Johnny is like a fireball, just.
Super creative
Spit it,
fireball.
yeah.
Spit it on you.
Full of energy.
And I'm like the complete opposite. I'm very
Low key.
low key, easygoing.
Only gets fired up when he gets mad on the softball field.
Yeah.
And that's very, very seldom.
So it was very out of my comfort zone. So you have Kyle Russell spoken words, and then you have Johnny Kilman spoken
Do
I
you
words.
feel like you got it in you, though, no?
Do you remember it? Can
He
you do it
did
again?
It was good.
Can
It
you do it
just
right now?
wasn't like
I remember the first line.
All right, what was it?
like
Right.
way up here.
Yeah.
We were doing Surrounded, so I said it's amazing to be
Wait, hold on, hold on.
surrounded when you're surrounded by you.
Go ahead. Yeah, do it right here. Come on.
To this tune, yeah.
Come on.
See, this is me. I can't do it.
Hit us. We're about to
I
outro, but you got to hit it.
I just did it.
Do it again.
Right here.
I don't know. I don't remember the whole thing.
There
It's
you go.
amazing to be surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you.
Something like that.
Hey.
Roll with that.
It's
Okay.
amazing to be
sounds good.
surrounded when I'm surrounded by you.
Hey. Okay.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that was the opening. That was the opening line.
But it was good. It just wasn't like, I don't think it was. He was just so afraid of it that it was like
It did not launch his rap career.
I almost fainted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Go ahead and leave a like, comment, and a subscription. We'll catch you next week. And happy 14th anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Yeah. Everybody do your dance.